Could just buy Bitcoin? Yeah, sure. I mean, they could. I think most people are of the mind that right now we should be finding ways that don't add additional burdens onto the US taxpayer. So by buying Bitcoin and deficit spending and adding debt to the balance sheet, I mean, certainly you could do it. I It would be easy, very easy to do. We do it all the time for things that are much less important than Bitcoin. But I think smart right now, where we are with the Overton window, I think it's smart to pursue approaches that don't force us to have to raise the debt or raise taxes.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Um, yeah. Anyway, so the you've been talking a lot about energy markets and about how well renewable energy places that have been could use Bitcoin in order to earn a little bit more money. Can you give us a little bit more of an explanation about how that works to make renewable energy more reliably efficient?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I said before, renewable energy providers are struggling all across the world. I talk to renewable energy companies all across the world, and they have this very big problem. The problem is that they are very dependent on time and geography. Solar, for instance, it only generates power when the sun is in the sky, and it needs to be where the sun is bright because you want to maximize the amount of energy that you can generate from a solar farm. And if you go somewhere where it's cold and it's cloudy, you're not going to get enough sun to be able to make it make sense, to make it pencil out. So these solar farms, they need to go where it's very bright, where there's not a lot of or not a lot of clouds, and they want to try to stay on as long as they can during that time frame. So that's one problem. Is the only period of time which they can be on. They're not on all day like a baseload energy asset. Additionally, those locations where the sun is bright and it's not very cloudy tend to be further away from where most people or most cities or most industrial parks develop. And that is where power is bought. It's called a demand center. So what happens is you build a solar farm in the middle of nowhere with nobody around you. So you have to transport it over huge electrical lines called high voltage transmission lines. You transport it large distances, which is very expensive to do, very time consuming to get it to the demand centers. But because it's so expensive and it takes so long, you'll have renewable energy providers wasting all their energy in the meantime. A decade can go by with nothing happening, where large portions of the energy from the clean energy site goes wasted. They call it curtailed energy. Whenever a renewable energy plant, let's say you have a 100 megawatt renewable energy plant, and they're only able to sell 50 of it, the other 50 is wasted. It's called curtailed energy. So that wasted energy, the renewable energy generator, they are on the hook for that. So that they're losing out on potential revenue, and it's hurting them pretty significantly. So a solution is to put something next to them to buy the power. But there's very few things that can do that. Almost nothing can do it at scale. Bitcoin mining is the perfect solution here. Bitcoin mining can scale to any size. It can custom fit to any size of any energy asset, and it can be on whenever they want it to be on. They want it to be on 30% of the day. They want it to be on 40% of the day. They want it to buy that other 50 megawatts, but keep the other 50 megawatts, selling it to the grid. That's what Bitcoin mining can offer. Ultimately, Bitcoin mining will optimize clean energy, green energy, wind and solar, and completely eliminate the problem of curtailment. Until, this is the best part, let's say someone comes along, let's say you build a city 10 years later near the wind and solar farm, and you go, okay, well, now we have customers. You can reduce the amount of Bitcoin mining that's taking place there and sell that power now to the city. There's all sorts of arrangements and agreements, and people who are thinking very forward. There's already people thinking about these things, by the way, people planning to build cities based off of the ability to create demand anywhere. If you can create demand anywhere, you can build generation anywhere. Without getting too far into the weeds, you can't just build a power plant in the middle of nowhere. There's nobody there to buy it, except for now there is, because you can put Bitcoin mining anywhere in the world. People have yet to, I think, grasp the impact of being able to build demand anywhere in the world. Needless to say, you stop selling to the Bitcoin miner, the clean energy, you stop selling it to them, and you sell it to the city now. And then you move the Bitcoin miner somewhere else to do more energy development. There's a great article. People should read it. It's called Bitcoin as a Pioneer Species. It was written before anybody even really knew the power of Bitcoin mining and what it could do. But it eloquently lays out by comparing it to nature how Bitcoin mining can go in to places where there's energy poverty and eliminate energy poverty. It's an incredible article. It's written by a smart guy named Brandon Quittem. I highly suggest people go read it.
Are there a lot of people doing this, or a lot of energy companies looking into this? Have you spoken to a lot of people, or is this like a very theoretical thing, or is this something that's happening?
Marathon just announced today that they bought a wind farm. They're going to be mining off of the wind farm to be able to provide revenues. There are renewable energy companies. This is a global problem. There is been a massive expansion of renewable energy all across the world, and nobody's buying the power because they can't transmit the power to where it needs to go. It's a serious problem, and Bitcoin miners are actively today solving this. Beyond that, before anybody even actually started doing this, before Marathon did it, we helped put forward a whole paper. We've done multiple papers, but this one in particular, we co-authored it alongside the former ERCOT CEO, the late Brad Jones, who was an incredible advocate for Bitcoin mining before he unfortunately passed away. We co-authored a paper alongside him, which said that Bitcoin mining is a powerful tool for the energy system and for green energy. That's one paper we wrote. We got another one through the peer review process with some researchers out of Europe. This is not only is it happening, people have been thinking about it for a long time, and we have the research, the credible evidence-backed research to back it up.
Wow, that's really cool. That's such an I'm glad some people are doing this. So I guess then, yeah, the question is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, China have announced that they were going to be doing some mining operations, or if they changed their stance on Bitcoin recently. What was it?
There was a change of stance from China. I don't think they're doing Bitcoin mining right now. I mean, not publicly.
What was the change of stance?
There's something about making it not as criminal to buy it or hold it or sell it. I don't remember the exact policy, but it was essentially reversing their current trend on pushing Bitcoin out. They reversed that trend, and it seems like they're going the opposite direction now.
Maybe they see the tide turning. So what
and everybody better see the tide turning. It's coming. It's a giant orange tide. And whether it's this cycle or whether it's the next, people need to realize, like, every 4 years, it's just going to keep getting bigger and more intense. 4 years ago, we were just talking about corporations buying Bitcoin. Now we have governments talking about buying Bitcoin. We're reaching maximum adoption. We're about to go up the supply curve. This is the thing that people don't realize. When Bitcoin starts to run out, and it will, when Bitcoin starts to run out, the ability to buy Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin is going to go insane. $100,000 Bitcoin is nothing. We're going to 10 million. We're going to 13 million bare minimum, according to some estimates.
When does
people think we're crazy?
When does the price run? When does the Bitcoin
run?
Beings,
human beings have a very hard time understanding exponential technologies. When we run out of Bitcoin, and there's all these countries and all these people and the largest asset managers in the world trying to buy it, where do you think the price goes? It's coming. It's as early as 2028. In my opinion, it's as late as 2032 when we start to see very significant jumps in the price of Bitcoin. I think today we think these are significant jumps. These are not significant jumps. We are going to see massive jumps in the price of Bitcoin.
Well, hopefully. Let's see. It'd be nice if the world could agree on some sort of digital asset that is a reserve that is non-screwable with by everybody and non-endlessly printable. Basically, that's the dream. And I guess for a long time it seems we had gold that did a pretty good job of being that, and then we decided gold wasn't good enough and we would just print money backed with nothing. And here we are at the fourth turning of monetary cycles, and maybe Bitcoin will come along to save us all. That would be quite the difference to the way all the other monetary cycles end, which is normally in collapse of empires. I'd really like that not to happen.
Yeah.
Apparently so you think in the after the next halving or the halving after that, it says here that Bitcoin's we've got 19.9 million Bitcoins have been mined already. The remaining 1.1 we mined over the next 116 years, with the last Bitcoin expected to be mined in 2140. Wow. Okay, so whoever is whoever's smart enough to hand it down to their kids, basically.
Well, that's what people are saying. This is generational. The people who bought property in Manhattan before the city exploded and with its growth, there's some of those people are still holding on to the land today. You don't sell Manhattan real estate. You live off of it. Your family lives off of it forever.
Yeah. You put it in trusts, in a cold storage wallet.
Whatever. That's what's great about Bitcoin is you can secure it in the future much better than you can secure Manhattan real estate.
Yeah. Yeah. And there may be 19.9 million mined, but there's quite a lot of them that have been lost to wallets that will never be recovered. I wonder how many people have lost fortunes.
Too many.
Those early days. Always write down your seed code, people, in like 12 different places.
Do you run a business of any kind? Do you want 25% off up to 20 taxi rides? Well, if you sign up to Bolt Business with my promo code, that's exactly what you'll get. You don't have to use all 20 rides, and you can use it for your own business rides or for your employees. It couldn't be simpler. Follow the link in the description and use the code BB25OFF20 to get 25% off 20 taxi rides today. That's BB25OFF20.
Hey everyone, thanks for making it right the way to the end of the podcast. I love that you tuned in this long. Do me a favor, hit subscribe, because 80% of you bastards are not subscribing, but you're watching my videos. See you next time.